Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Hope everyone's having a great start to your day. All right, we have quite the topic. One uh, that has been quite the topic of opinion for a number of decades. This is nothing that is new, obviously, because people see details type coins. Now, when I mean details, it's just a broad generalized word to describe damaged coins. Even a coin as innocent as a light cleaning can be construed as damaged. But the wide range of different types of damage needs to be understood before you could go and price out your coins. We're going to try and cover both graded and raw coins. Obviously, there's going to be a large emphasis over raw coins because people have more raw coins that could possibly be damaged in some way. But differentiating the various different types of details type grades of your coins will help you determine exactly where it fits in kind of like that value scale. In terms of details, you gotta look at which ones are the most minor. That's gonna have the most minimal impact on the value of coins, and that's gonna be things like cleaned. Obviously, is a good one. Another one that comes to mind is questionable color. As its name suggests, it's gonna be any sort of artificial toning. Um, that seems to be a rather minor, if not innocent, type of details grade. When you send these coins out to a third-party grader like PCGS or NGC, if they come back details, they will not have any numerical designation. They'll simply say it's going to be AU details or mid-state details or XF details. I actually brought up a list of Morgan dollars that are all graded and are details grade coins. All right, so this 1893 that you see here is again what I consider to be kind of like that just minor level of damage, and this one is harshly cleaned. Now there's going to be cleaned and harshly cleaned. Those are two different details designators that PCGS uses specifically for the level of cleanliness of the coin. Harshly cleaned, of course, is the more major end of the spectrum when it comes to cleaned coins. What exactly is a clean coin? Well, it most certainly affects a lot of older coins. Cleaning used to be something that was done quite often in the early 20th century, for example, because people were under the impression that these coins actually trapped a lot of viruses and bacteria. So what did people do? They cleaned them. Obviously, they were sat there with a Brillo pad, or they sat there with a cloth and various other chemicals, and they went and cleaned their coins so that way they don't contract whatever viruses were on the coin. Now, of course, that was all kind of like the speculation at the time. Was there any truth to it? I don't know. But people will listen to, the powers that be and then decide, well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to take all my coins, put it in a bucket, dump bleach in it, and then we're all good. But that's how a lot of these earlier coins became cleaned. And it's a very common occurrence, okay? For those of you that actually have collections that's been passed down to you or have been given to you in the past, you'll find that there are probably a number of coins that have been cleaned or dipped or something at one point. And that's totally fine. That doesn't completely squash the market on these coins. But again, we're going to get into it. You need to understand what kind of a discount you should expect for these coins. Raw to graded. Now, it's not completely the most horrible, worst looking thing. There are actually a number of dates, like the 1893 Morgan that you see on screen, which is a lot tougher to find in any sort of acceptable market grade. So this might actually be a coin that's okay to own because it is a semi-key. Now, 1893S is the big key date, but I wasn't completely surprised when I found out, though, that there was a number of San Francisco minted 1893s that were cleaned and graded as such. Now, this is a really great picture right here. The reverse of this coin exhibits some pretty heavy polishing marks. Not so much polishing, but you can see the fine hairlines. And that's just the right amount of friction that a cleaning cloth, it can be a terry cloth, it could be a cotton cloth, it could be anything. Just the right amount of pressure applied onto the surface of a coin, especially early silver, that's going to leave these unsightly hairlines. And it's a pretty easy designator, again, to differentiate a coin that is 100% original, that has not been cleaned, compared to this example that you see here, which has a lot of cleaning done to it. And another thing to keep in mind, you'll notice that a lot of the fields, which are the flat areas, are probably also some of the higher relief areas of the coin. Those areas are not going to hold a lot of the grime. Okay, those are the easier contact points because they are the highest points on the coin. The fields are open, flat areas in between all of the devices. Those are easy, accessible areas, but you notice a lot of the dirt and grime and original toning that's socked in all of the letters and around the eagle and things like that. Those are actually a lot tougher to remove just by using a cloth. Okay, that's going to take a lot of time. But when you put two and two together, you see hairlines, but you see just this buildup of original skin that is in the protected areas of these devices. You're going to have a coin that obviously has been cleaned. Now, there are old cleanings and there are more recent, newer cleanings. Okay, the older cleanings can be a coin that was cleaned at one point and then retoned, or recirculated, or recolored to make it appear like that the coin is not clean. However, with certain different aspects of a clean coin, the hairlines, the abnormally dark areas around the protected areas of these devices, you're ultimately going to find out that the coin has been cleaned. All right, so this person right here is asking $470. Given the date, it's an XF details, okay, which is what they call a net grade. If the coin was not clean, it probably would have scored an AU 53. Okay, so what the graders will do, when a coin is going to come back details, and regardless of what type of details grade, it can be cleaned, corroded, hold, a various myriad of different type of things, questionable color. If a coin that is problem-free would normally grade, say, I'm just going to shoot out an example, mid-state 63. All right, that's problem-free, no cleaning, no damage, nothing like that. However, a damaged, cleaned equivalent to that coin will net grade or drop a whole point value, if not more. So that mid-state 63 grade Morgan dollar, if it's cleaned, will probably end up net grading as an AU details coin. So it drops one complete whole grade level. And that's something you got to keep in mind. And that's just kind of like the information that's going to be very important for you guys to understand the pricing grid for this. Especially with clean coins. There is nothing wrong with owning a clean coin. However, you have to take into consideration that you are going to be selling this coin for a lot less money, number one. Number two, it's going to be a lot tougher to unload a coin like this because today's market, people want what they call the original market acceptable pieces. These are pieces, much like this example here of a 1921 high relief peace dollar. This one is an NGC AU 58. It's not details. It's a very beautiful coin. This coin right here will sell a lot quicker than a coin that of the same type that is an AU details cleaned. So people are going to gravitate more toward the problem-free examples than they would a cleaned coin. All right, so we have this 1893 Morgan, which is an XF details. And you can't really pinpoint if it's an XF40 or 45. It's just a net grade because of its harsh cleaned designation on there. So when we go to price something like this out, we have to take a look at the PCGS price guide. All right, and the price guide is a price guide. Okay, the price that's on there is not a real world acceptable type of figure that these coins always sell for. If this 1893 Morgan dollar via the price guide in XF45 says it's $500 on there, it doesn't mean that every single example in XF45 sells for $500. But they give kind of like that baseline, because some examples will sell for a little less, some will sell for more. There are other X factors involved. Does it have a little bit of toning? Does it have a better strike? These are all things that are a little bit more advanced. I don't want to really get into it that deep, but there are certain variables that will swing the price a little bit higher or lower. So I really want to take a look at that Morgan dollar. So we're going to go down to dollars. It's under the price guide tab on their website. We're going to go to Morgan dollar, and we're going to go to 1893. I want to see what this coin values at XF40 and 45. And then from there, we're going to discuss how you should price out your coin. So I believe this is on page 3 here. And it sure is. All right, so if we look all the way on the left, we're at, was that VG4 is what that grade, or good 4 is that grade. We have XF40 right here, which is the third column over from the left. We're going to go down to 1893. This is not a proof like, it's not a dimple, which is a deep mirror proof like. We're going to focus on this mid-state line. All right, so in a XF40, this coin has a value of $400. Now, our friend here, Cash for Coins, is selling this coin for a lot higher than what PCGS price guide value is. To make matters worse, this coin right here has been cleaned, whereas the PCGS price guide value illustrates a value of a cross-graded, problem-free example at an XF40. Now, there is an XF45. So if this particular seller believes that this falls in that XF45 range, then they'll price it appropriately. They'll sell it a little bit higher. But again, there's no numerical grade when it comes to the details grade. It just says XF detail. So in this particular instance, we're going to use the value of $400 as kind of a starting point at differentiating the price of my cleaned coin. Now, when we look at things like this, you're more than likely going to get a lot more money in the market off of a coin that's graded as a details coin as opposed to a raw coin that you know is cleaned that you're trying to sell. There's a much more stiffer, if not heavier, discount on raw cleaned coins of this same date. So this says $400, but let's say you have a 1893 Morgan dollar that's not graded at all, and you think it's XF, and let's just assume that you know it's cleaned. Most of the coins are cleaned out there. That coin will have an approximate 50% discount value of what's stated in that price guide. Realistically, in the market, you could sell that coin for around $200. And if you did sell it to a coin shop, more than likely they're probably going to give you a lot less than that, maybe $100 to $125. Coin shops will buy anything, but when they know a coin is clean, they understand that that's the type of inventory that's either going to stay in their shop for a long period of time because it is cleaned and people just aren't interested in those type of coins, or they're going to price it low enough so that way they could sell it online on eBay or on their website or some other site. So that's for a raw coin. Okay, it's going to be worth anywhere from $100, $125 to $200, depending on your gray sheet and retail values. But how about that graded 1893. Let's say you had this coin and not paying any attention to this particular listing for $470. Let's say you owned this coin and you're curious as to what its value is going to be for a graded example. It could be PCGS or NGC, as long as it has a details grade of that particular type and grade level, you have something to work with. All right, so $400 is what we're at on this one. Generally, the rule of thumb when it comes to cleaned coins, there's going to be about a 20 to 25% discount under what this price is. So realistically, you're going to be paying full market for a clean coin if you bought this one at $470. But realistically, this is a coin that's worth anywhere from $300 to $325 in today's real world market. This is a coin right here, ladies and gentlemen, at $470. I wouldn't even consider buying. And it doesn't matter how good the market is, because this is going to be a tough coin to sell. If you had to buy this coin for resale or flipping, you're going to have a hard time. You need to avoid coins like this if you're a buyer. As a seller, you got to keep in mind, use pricing schematics like PCGS Price Guide, which is free. You go on their website, pcgsprice.com, or you could use another online price guide that for raw coins, ungraded, like Numis Media. You do have to pay a fee for that. It's like $20 a month. Or just go on eBay and see how much sold listings are of these coins. And then you can go ahead and kind of price out what your coin is going to be around. All right, so what I wanted to do is go and see some sold listings. So we're going to go down here and click this, and we're going to take a look at sold listings on a few coins. Obviously, there's people use the word strong details and stuff like that in their listings, while the coin is straight graded. All right, so keep that in mind. So let's go down here to this 1894 Morgan Dollar PCGS uncirculated details, which shows cleaned, sold for $2,356. Now it's UNC details, which means it's still technically an uncirculated coin. However, it's been cleaned. PCGS cannot assign a numerical grade because it's a problem coin. So if we went back into the Morgan Dollar PCGS price guide, went to 1894, right here, go to mint state. So we could go, they designate mint state 63 on here, as you can see, and 64 and up. All right, so at this particular level, 63 is a rather medium type of uncirculated grade. Okay, there is 60, 61, 62, but 63 seems to be kind of like that modern denominator or common denominator for a mint state generalized type of grade. We see that the price guide value is at $5,500. This example right here is sold for $2,356. It always seems to be that the more key dates and the higher technical grade type dates of these key dates seem to take the biggest hit. This coin, ladies and gentlemen, represents over a 50% discount reduction because it's cleaned. That's quite considerable. The more scarcer, the more desirable a key date is. You got to keep in mind, when people are shopping key dates and they know they're going to pay out $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 for the coin, do you think they want that clean coin as a compromise, knowing full well that they do have that kind of capital to spend on a coin? Or would they rather wait for a problem-free example that truly graded mint state 63 without the cleaned, or the hold, or the corrosion, or the questionable color? I think you guys will agree with me that they will wait for that premier piece that's not details grade. But when we're talking about lower dollar value coins, something that's under $500, the delineation of the discount from a problem-free example to one that's cleaned is a lot less. You're probably looking at about 20 to 25%, but that only applies to graded coins. Raw coins are going to be subject to a much deeper discount in the marketplace. And if you're selling to a coin shop or a dealer, the discount is just going to be unbearably gross. There are going to be times where you're going to have to accept a 75% reduction in value by selling at gray sheet or wholesale, because they'll look at the gray sheet, which is their wholesale prices. They'll find the gray sheet value, but they're not going to ask that for it to obtain your coin. They're going to do a percentage under that. But almost every coin dealer does that. Okay, they want to get into a coin right so that way they could resell it. All right, so that way they have the ability to pay the bills and the overhead and to operate a business. But you're getting your money. So you have to keep in mind all of these different variables when it comes to pricing out your clean coins. What's the best way to market these? Obviously, selling it online is the best market, but understanding the price reduction and discount from a problem-free example to a clean one is one that really skips a lot of people. So before I let you guys go, let's talk about the reduction in price on the various different types of details. So I've come to a conclusion, only because I keep track of the market daily. Lightly cleaned, questionable color coins, which are artificially toned, which, by the way, you can rectify that. You can dip those and get rid of that old toning. As long as it's not cleaned. Which it could be. There could be an old cleaning underneath that artificial toning. But those seem to take the lightest hit in depreciation above any other details grade, generally 20 to 30%. Then you look at the next tier. And sometimes corrosion really doesn't matter too much, especially on early coppers, because a lot of those do come away corroded. A lot of them were buried in the ground. A lot of them were stored in less than ideal environments back in their day. A lot of it on the East Coast of the U.S., where there's a lot more humidity, and a lot more various other factors as well. So corroded coins on early coppers, there's really not too big of a hit, maybe 10, 20%. And that's for graded examples. But the ones that take the biggest hit in the market are things like hold coins, where there's a hole drilled or punched into the coin. Bent coins is another one. And then whizzed is another one as well, where someone takes a fine wire brush or a Dremel to apply a false kind of luster to the surface of a coin. We see this a lot with early 1900s coins. Those are a type of things that will destroy the market for a coin to the point where it doesn't matter if it's a key date. These coins will be subjected to upwards of 75 to 80% discount above and beyond what a problem-free example of the same coin would sell for. So that's kind of like a little bit of a pricing guide for you. Again, keep in mind for the key dates, even though you know it's clean, sometimes it would just be better to send it out to a PCGS because it's a lot more marketable and you're going to save a lot more value on your coin. But the lower priced value coins, things that are under $100, you can just sell out in the marketplace. Okay, and a lot more of the modern stuff that is cleaned or damaged or corroded, a lot of them are pretty close or dangerously close to being just either face value or melt value. All right, a lot of the bulk Morgans and piece dollars out there that we see at dealer shops, a lot of them are details grade. A lot of clean coins are out there, but it's great for just stacking silver. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully it was a little bit of a help. I gave you guys a couple references to use to help you out. I also gave you some data, some percentage points that maybe you should write down regarding the reduction in value underneath the market or price guide value. Again, I'm not big or hip on price guides because they're not truly indicative of what the true market value is at that given time. Again, numismatics right now is so wildly good, but at the same time, it's so volatile. There's a coin of the same type that could sell for $1,000, but you might have another coin that might sell for as low as $300 in the same grade. That's how volatile it is. It's all over the place. But I hope you guys got a few takeaways from this video. I want to thank you guys again. We got the PCMR coming up this afternoon. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. It was a pleasure talking with you about pricing out cleaned, damaged, details coins. As always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. Sure was a pleasure. Before I let you go, all right, I want to thank you again. I am in deep gratitude for a lot of your following and your views on all of my content. It was amazing ride of 11, 12 years, and we're going to keep going until I can't do it anymore. But I'm not running out of steam yet. You guys have a wonderful day. Have fun collecting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.